Good morning and welcome to One Boat Chaplaincy for COVID times. And I'm delighted to be with you this morning. I'm Father Nadim Nassar, originally from Syria, but I live at the moment in London. Today, we continue to live in a very extraordinary time. And today, let's look at the challenges and think about, pray for youth around the world. Since I was 20, long time ago, I have worked with youth when I was in Lebanon during the civil war in the 80s. It was tough time, it was also extraordinary time. And I had the most blessed and wonderful time working with young people in Beirut during that time. And since then, my ministry has been always involved with young minds and young hearts. Even today at the Awareness Foundation, we have a special youth program called the Ambassadors for Peace, which is in Syria and in Iraq. And we have dealt with hundreds of young people who live still in an extraordinary time and very special time, under pressure, challenged. It's painful time. It is time of thinking, praying, and at the same time to re-examine our lives. This morning, I want to read Psalm 127 for you. It says, which is very poignant to the situation of the youth around the world, and especially this time. Unless the Lord builds the house, its builders labor in vain. Unless the Lord watches over the city, the watchmen stand guard in vain. In vain you rise early and stay up late, toiling for food to eat, for he grants sleep to those he loves. Sons and daughters are a heritage from the Lord, children a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are sons and daughters born in one's youth. Blessed is those whose quiver is full of them. They will not be put to shame when they contend with their enemies in the gate. Sons and daughters are a heritage from the Lord, children a reward from him. Like arrows in the hands of a warrior are young people, sons and daughters born in one's youth. That reminds me of St. Paul's saying, be perfect like your Father in heaven is perfect. And and actually the word in Greek, the word perfect in Greek, does not mean like we understand it even in in Arabic or in English or in German, that the three languages I know. In Greek means perfect, means hitting the target, hitting the bull's eye, as we say in darts. So being perfect is when we know the purpose of our existence, and that should take place when we are young. We need to find the purpose of our lives, to find the target. And so when the psalm says an arrow in the hands of warrior, it means the warrior throws the arrow to the target. So being perfect is to know, to realize actually that I am the arrow in the hands of God, and allow that hand to throw me to the target. It's, of course, there are challenges. What is life without challenges? Jesus Christ was an arrow in the hands of God, in the hands of the Father, throwing it to the target, and the target was salvation. The target was the heart of the world. Yes, the challenges were enormous in the life of Christ, but he met the challenges. He embraced the challenges. He didn't try to avoid them. He didn't try to evade or maneuver around them. Yes, sometimes he was afraid. Yes, sometimes he hesitated, especially when he said in his last prayer, Father, if you can, to pass that chalice, the chalice of death. He was young. He was 33. But then he said, let your will be done, not mine. So he surrendered to the hand of the warrior as an arrow to go to the target. The challenges today in front of all of us, including young people, is the world is divided. I brought this globe to illustrate that when we look at the globe as one, but actually when we look in details, we see the divisions of the countries and the divisions of the continents, and we see that the world is not one. So one of the greatest challenges in front of our youth and in front of us are the borders that keep us separated. I was very sad to hear that Russia was rushing to register the first COVID vaccine without finishing the necessary experiments and testing, because I felt the world in this time needs cooperation, not competition. to save hundreds of thousands of lives. You know, more and more I see politicians as a curse more than a blessing for the world. And they push us through the tunnel of division. The challenge is, how do we bring the world into cooperation when a crisis like COVID-19 hits? Instead of trying to fight who achieves what first. This is not the time to race in a competitive way, in a vicious way against each other. It's a time to unite. It's a time to unite the effort to save lives. If life is the most sacred thing on earth. So the first challenge we face, and the youth face, is divided world. Youth need the world to encourage them for innovation. I brought this small shuttle, to illustrate innovation. Youth need innovation, need a healthy environment to create. Science flourishes when we encourage young people to be themselves, to use their minds, to explore, rather than to fight each other or to be divided by race or color or religion or whatever, gender. My friends, innovation is the name of the game for the youth now. Youth need creativity. This painting behind me is the first painting I did using the style of Cubism to represent Christ when he was 12. The face of Christ when he was 12, when he was young, when he was teaching in the temple, and everybody was amazed with his wisdom, when he sat in the synagogue in his hometown, which of course didn't accept him, and spoke with the elders with authority. He was young when he challenged the religious leaders, when he reminded them that as religious leaders we should not abuse religion, and religion is being abused today. Innovation, creativity, and also we need to bring to their lives faith, healthy faith, that brings them closer to God and to accepting each other, embracing the difference, celebrating the diversity of the world. My friends, youth need us. Youth need the world to unite, to explore the depth of humanity, the purpose of humanity. Science answers a lot of questions concerning how and what. But faith answers only the question of why, the purpose. Science does not try to answer the question why we are here, why, what is the purpose of life, for example. But science gives us the innovation, gives us the technology that are necessary to go ahead in our lives. But faith should bring us closer to the purpose of life, which is the dignity of humanity. The purpose of life is to experience God's love in dealing with each other, in living together. What is the purpose of a world that is full of wars, full of destruction, full of disappointments? Humanity doesn't flourish. Humanity misses the target. If we believe that we are the arrows in the hands of God, and the target is the well-being of the world, then we need to prepare the the environment for youth to flourish. Prepare the environment for mature people, elderly people, to give the youth their wisdom, their experience. Look at a major or colonel in England who is 100 years old, who inspired the whole country when he walked, being 100 years old with his walker, and he raised over £30 million for the health system in the most needed time. We need youth, and we need the wisdom and the experience of the mature generation to combine. We don't need politicians to divide us. We don't need religion to put weapons in our hands to fight. We need the faith to be in the heart that radiates to the world good works, good relationships. Show me your life. Show me your relationships, and I know what God you worship. Don't lecture me about religion. Show me your life. Jesus used parables. He told the people. He was close to their pain, to their needs. But he clashed with the religious leaders. He clashed with those who were controlling lives. In the Middle East, in Lebanon, especially today, after the horrendous explosion of Beirut that destroyed a big portion of the most wonderful pearl of a city. Now the politicians are fighting over accusing each other instead of helping the wounded, comforting the grieving people. My friends, the Middle East is torn apart by politics and by religion. Today, I look at the world and I see no leadership. I'm sorry. When I look at the youth, I pity that they don't have good role models in governments or in the states around the world. We have very, very, very few good leaders in the world on the political level. We are divided, deeply divided, from the United States to this country, to in Britain, to Russia, to Europe. Politicians, you have failed. You have failed us. You have failed to unite the world, even in the most difficult time now, with the virus time. People are dying everywhere, and you are fighting who registers first the vaccine. Shame on you. And I say to the Middle East, shame on you, politicians. You are dividing us. You are destroying the cradle of civilization. Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Libya. We look around, the young people look around in the Middle East, and they see only broken dreams. There is no time for innovation. There is no time for creativity. There is no time for thinking of how to develop technology. There is no time even to cherish faith. Faith has become in the Middle East aggressive religion. Our politicians divided the world. I don't want to be too negative. Of course, there are wonderful initiatives around the world fighting for peace, for companionship, for cooperation in the world. Well, one Boat Chaplaincy, even a Facebook page is power. Gary, you are wonderful, because through you we are fighting, even through a website, through a Facebook page. We are fighting in the Awareness Foundation to reach out for young people and say, you still have a role in the society. Don't let religion or politics separate you, destroy your dreams. This was one time a dream, but because of the commitment, the determination, because of the creativity of young minds and the experience of mature people combined together, now we can go to space. Creativity, innovation, faith are pillars for young people to thrive. And let's support any initiative that brings people together, challenge the force of separation, the force of this mentality that the economy of war is more beneficial to humanity. No, the economy of peace is what we need. The economy of peace that looks at innovation, creativity, and celebrates the multitude of faiths, celebrates races, genders, colors, cultures, different backgrounds. Moving from challenges to what we can do. Let's invite young minds, young hearts to be partners with us in our journey together the journey of humanity. Let's put first the dignity of humanity, the dignity of human being, which is lost today. It's not enough for a young man or woman to go to the university. No. With the education, we need to equip our young people with the skills to live together, to celebrate each other's differences, to unite and show humanity, show us all that there is yet a more excellent way, as St. Paul says. The world is your oyster. Don't let politics or religion or race divide you. Let us put our hands together to bring peace to the world, to pray for each other, to embrace each other, especially in this extraordinary time, in this very difficult time. Many people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people are suffering. Thousands of people are losing their lives because of the virus. Let us keep aside our divisions. Let's call all for our politicians to drop this mentality of competition and embrace the mentality of cooperation. The world needs young minds, young hearts, but the world, my God, needs maturity, wisdom, role models, so that the world and God may celebrate unity. My friends, it's difficult, and we don't live in a good time, but we can turn that into an opportunity. Every crisis is in itself an opportunity to turn it around and make out of it a chance to change. Even the cross was an opportunity God embraced, Jesus Christ accepted, in order to turn it into a victory in the resurrection. This is what we need. People who believe that the difficult time is an opportunity for unity, for love, for giving, for uniting, for building a better life. I'm not saying that as a theory. Yes, I'm saying that as practice. The work we are doing in the Near East is real. We are touching with our programs, and especially the Ambassadors for Peace, hundreds of lives, and I've seen the impact. And I can't be discouraged when I see wonderful, vibrant minds being touched by God and celebrated by life. Let's all unite. Let's all ask our leaders to get back on track, to give us equality, that the purpose of our creation may be fulfilled. May the Lord bless you all and keep you. And may the Lord open our hearts and minds to the power of change, to see young people taking their places in building our humanity. and mature people taking their places to give us the experience and the wisdom. Amen.